Hello, Honors English students. We're going to go through this lesson that is largely just a syllabus. I took the syllabus that's also posted to the classroom, turned it into a PowerPoint form. It's just a little easier to go through that way. So hang with me, we'll go through the syllabus together, and let me know if you have any questions afterwards. So here's this course description. If you want to read this, go ahead and pause the video. I'm going to skip through it, but feel free to read through this. It's also on the syllabus posted to classroom. Like we talked about in earlier lessons, here's the course deep hope. Our deep hope is to critically analyze words and ideas and respond in a way that discovers and pursues our place in God's story. In other words, this is what English class is all about. This is what it's for. This is kind of like the most important work we'll do, and all the little stuff we do throughout the course of the year is aimed towards this. And similarly, here's the course storyline of seeing things differently in a new way. We'll return to this idea quite a bit. Here are the novels we're reading together this year. We're going to start out with The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain, and then we're going to jump over to Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury, and then we'll read The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. We'll read lots of other like short stories or articles or things throughout the year, but these are like the main novels we're reading this year together. Here are the plans for the school year. You can see the plans for the first semester and the second semester, and feel free to pause it and just look both of them over. In the bottom left, it says all year ARDP writing instruction. So kind of like while we're doing all of our other units, we'll also be doing some writing work throughout the course of the year. I'll explain what ARDP is a little bit later on, but just know that with how many things are changing this year, like we've had to be flexible so many things lately, just know that both semesters are subject to change a little bit. So be flexible, be open. They shouldn't change too much. This should generally be how they are, but they may change a little bit. Here's how I grade the course. You'll see that the number that maybe jumps out to you right away is final exam is worth 5%. There's a ton of reasons why I have it only be worth 5%. The main reason being I don't give a lot of tests and quizzes in this course. And so it doesn't make a ton of sense to me to therefore give you this test or quiz on the last day and have it be worth this huge percentage of your grade. Furthermore, I get that some students aren't just great test takers, or maybe you're having a bad day and you score well, and it doesn't seem super fair to me that it's there, that a huge percentage of your grade is affected by that one day. So let's focus on the work from now until the end of the semester rather than just on that one day. 5% is enough to kind of make a difference one way or another, but not enough to save or tank your grade. So the idea is, if you're doing your work all semester, you shouldn't have to worry about the final exam too much, and that's kind of a reward. On the flip side, if you have not done your work all semester, you can't save your grade in one day, and that's kind of the trade-off there. But it's only worth 5%, and that's not to say that's the right way to do it. That's just how I've decided to do it. If other teachers do it differently, which I know they do, there's probably very valid reasons for doing that. There's nothing inherently wrong with that. So this is kind of my perspective, but it's no more valid or right than any other perspective. And final exams are fine. Like there's a reason why we do them, right? Like think about if you're an athlete and you practice every day. You have to kind of like prove it on game day, right? If you are in band or orchestra or choir, you rehearse and then you have to kind of prove it, so to speak, on performance day or the concert day. Just like those things, if you are a student, which you are, you work all semester and you learn, and then you demonstrate what you know on game day, so to speak, final exam day. So it does make sense. It's just not how we do things here. And then you'll also notice that Sarah, the ACT prep software that I know you're familiar with, is only worth 5%. The ARDP articles, which I mentioned earlier, is worth 25%. And then course content is worth a whopping 65. Now, everything we do for, like, let's say our Huck Finn unit will be thrown into that course content grade category. So that's kind of a catch-all for everything we do in our units. Here's some general classroom rules and procedures. Google Classroom. So I've already talked a little bit about Google Classroom, but you can expect a topic on Google Classroom that covers the day's work in a step-by-step manner. So like number 1, do this, number 2, do this, and so on. So some of the things that you can expect on Classroom are a daily overview that explains here's what we're doing for the day, a video lesson when possible, in case you're gone from class or you just need to review, the learning materials and resources, and anything for assignments or projects or questions that you need. So everything you need should be on Classroom. They should show up in the same way each day. Okay, so Sarah ACT Prep Software. So I know that you've done this already. If you're new, I can get you onboarded there, but Sarah ACT Prep software, this is something that will be done outside of class. I know some classes do it differently. This is not something that we will devote class time to. It's only worth 5% of your grade. It's going to be done totally outside of class, and I will assign it and grade it once a month. So what that means is, for September, let's say, all of your Sarah lessons, reading and writing, that you're responsible for the month of September, I will post them at the beginning of the month. And then you'll see on Classroom, they're due at the end of the month. Now, it's work at your own pace, and so if you want to get them all done right away and just knock them out and be done with it, that's fantastic. If you want to wait until the end of the month and just do it all at the last minute, as long as they're done, also fantastic. If you want to do it once a week, like one a week, or just kind of pace yourself, great. Doesn't really matter, so long as they're done at the end of the month. That's good by me. We're all set. Here's some instructions on how to get set up for the class in Sarah. So what I'd like you to do is pause the video, go through these steps, and just let me know if you have any questions or you run into any problems. So homework. I will work to keep homework to a minimum. However, you can expect some reading assignment and maybe a writing reflection periodically. You should typically have enough time to finish the bulk of your assignment in class, though of course some assignments that's just not possible. But I mean, not being there, not using your time well will of course result in having to do more of it outside of class. Here's the really important thing though. If you find yourself struggling with finishing the actual work, please set up a meeting with me. If you just find, like if I say, hey, I think this will take 20 minutes, and you always find it's taking you way more than the time I think it will, or you're always struggling to get the work done, please set up a meeting with me. Don't just sit there and struggle, and we'll work to figure out a solution. I'll do my very best to find a way to make it work for you. Most classes will read something, and when we read something, here's what I expect you to do with it. Finish the reading assignment, annotate the text, which we'll go over that later, and then be ready to demonstrate your knowledge by the next class period, and that'll look different class to class. Here's a quick word on makeup work. So you're responsible when you're gone to check Classroom to see what you've missed. Everything, again, is on Classroom, so be sure to check Classroom. That should be step number 1. Step number 2 is to email me if you have any questions or concerns. If you know you're going to be gone ahead of time, the best thing to do is communicate with me so I can get you stuff before you go, if you're able to work on stuff. If you're absent for whatever reason, you'll have time to make up your work. Proactive communication, though, is the most important thing. If you know you're going to be gone, get in touch with me. I'll let you know what you're going to be missing. We'll develop a plan to get caught up. Late work. Here's the big one. I don't accept late work at all. Late work will result in a 0, and that means not submitting work where and when it's supposed to be. That means it's late, which means it's a 0. However, in the interest of extending some grace, you can submit 2 late assignments per semester without penalty. So you still have to do the work, but you can submit 2 a semester. And like emergencies come up, or I have a late basketball game, or I just forgot, whatever the reason really, you have 2 chances per semester to use a late pass where you can submit something for full points, no questions asked, you're good to go. But beyond that, I don't accept late work, and that means even if you had it done, but you didn't submit it to Classroom where and when it's supposed to be, that's considered late. So you need to really be on top of your work in this course. For extenuating circumstances, please communicate with me ahead of time, and we'll set up some different or special arrangements. Here's a very important point, though. Proactive communication is key, and I will always work to figure something out with you. If something's going on in your life, I don't need to know the details, but you can just let me know, hey, I have this going on, or hey, I'm really struggling with this assignment, or hey, I have this, and this. Could I maybe get an extra day? So long as you proactively communicate with me, I will always work something out with you. We'll always come to a solution. That doesn't mean like the night before. That doesn't mean the morning of or right before class. But if you proactively communicate with me, I promise that I will always work to find a solution with you. We'll make it work together. Be ready to participate in class. That means being prepared for class, engaged in discussion, and willing to contribute. In other words, it doesn't just mean talking. I expect you to be an active participant in class discussions, whether that means contributing or listening intently and being engaged. So be ready to participate. Students who find the most success in this course regularly take notes during lectures, class discussions. So have a notebook out, have some paper out. I don't allow Chromebooks for note taking. If you need a Chromebook for note taking for some reason, you can either get all the lessons and information from class on Classroom later on, or you can just get notes from a buddy and type them up later. Just some general stuff. Show respect and be kind to me, to each other. Be kind to yourself. Show respect to yourself too. Do your best work. I know that that means different things for everyone, and maybe it even means different things for you day to day, but do your best work and be truthful. Speak the truth. Here's some kind of general procedures and expectations for the class. Be in your seat and ready to go when the bell rings and at the end of break, otherwise you'll be marked tardy. Make proper and frequent use of Google Classroom like we've been talking about, and then turn your work either online or to the hours basket, which I'll show you where that is later. I want you to be mindful of the weekly board in room 152, my classroom, where I explain everything we're going to be doing for the week, and you can see the week laid out there on the whiteboard, and then also make note of where the handout locations are in the classroom. I am available to meet most days starting at 7:30 and ending at 3:30, but if you need to talk, get help, ask questions, just let me know and I will make time for you. Doesn't matter before or after school, during the middle of the day. I'll make time for you if you want to chat about class stuff or not class stuff. I'll make time for you. You can expect homework and grades to be back by the beginning of next class period, and you can expect an updated Google Classroom calendar every couple weeks. And then also, I've said this a lot already, but good proactive communication is critically important to the work we do here together. For food and drink, we follow administration's policies, and my understanding is that right now, other than water, food and drink are off limits, and we just, cell phones, nope, we're just no cell phones in class period, ever. Here's some final thoughts, and maybe they ring as kind of cheesy to you, but just hang in there because I really mean them. I want you to have a growth mindset. Don't limit yourself or your abilities or what you think you're capable of. If you feel like you're not good at English class, or you get stuck, or criticism is not helpful or beneficial to you, I want you to have a growth mindset instead. Someone who recognizes that you can actually get better at things, and challenges help you do that, and constructive criticism helps you grow. Have a growth mindset. I want you to keep in mind that your identity is far more than a grade or your GPA. I know that this can be hard to remember at times, especially in the middle of a tough school year, but just remember, who you are is way more than your grade or your GPA, and months from now, years from now, decades from now, it's not your grade or GPA that's going to make any bit of difference. It's who you are. So let's focus on that this year together. I want you to stretch yourself this year. There's this anonymous quote that goes, "A ship in harbor is safe, but that's not what ships are built for." It's safe to kind of stick to what you know, and it might be dangerous or scary to kind of branch out and stretch yourself to things you're uncomfortable or unfamiliar with. But I want you to take those steps. You will make mistakes in this class. You will do things wrong in this class, whether that's your reading, your writing, whatever. Right now, just be okay with that and accept that. Be willing to take risks, and remember that it is literally my job to help you succeed, and I want to see you succeed. So don't stick with what you know or what's safe. Take risks and really try and develop and grow as a reader, writer, thinker, speaker. I also want you to know, and I just want to reiterate, that I have your best interest at heart, and I'll do whatever I can to help you succeed in this course. I totally get that at times it might not feel like maybe your coach or your parents or your teachers actually have your best interest at heart. I want you to know that I do. I'm on your team. I'm rooting for you. I want to see you succeed, and I'll do what I can to make sure that those things happen. Now, you have to also meet me halfway on some of these things, but I will do whatever I can to help you succeed. I have your best interest at heart. I'm on your team, and I'm on your side. I'm here for you guys. So moving on, we're going to take care of these things in class, but thank you for going through this lesson, and I'll see you on the next one, class.